Henshin a go-go, baby. What's good, guys? Yoku here, and I'm live right now on the Twitch redo and the YouTube, right? We're just having a good stream, and one of the things that we were talking about was just using different engines, and the question that got brought up was like, why would you use Fusion Compiler over something like Weeping Gemini? We were already talking about some of the things. I'm playing on my free-to-play account. You won't see that right now because I don't have engines, so I can't actually show you what I'm talking about. But we were asking these questions because of my free-to-play account. I'm helping other players with their own accounts, right? Like prepare for Endgame. They're asking questions, just general useful stuff, okay? And I want to show you guys something that I've constantly talked about this within my own community for well over 2 years at this point, right? I've been saying this since the dawn of time, or when Zenless came out with CBT 3, and we knew what was going to be inside of the logistics shops and the actual like shop that you can spend your money on, things like that. And one of the things that I'm always met with, which I'll go ahead and pop open the game now for you guys, a lot of the times when you come into your game, you go into your store and you'll see, let me grab this real quick, boom, thank you. A lot of the times what you'll see, right, is we come over in here and you have all of these residual signals, right? Your extra signal that you get, your whale dust, okay? And so what I would do, yo, AOG coming through with the raid. Thank you, big dog. I appreciate that. We're in the middle. Everyone always comes while we're in the middle of making a video, but I appreciate it nonetheless, man. Thank you for the raid, bro. I appreciate that. Hopefully you had a good one. All right. I hope y'all were chilling, doing the damn thing and whatnot, getting the co-op action going on. You guys know me, Amiyo. Comes. That's in the video. That's in the video. That's in the video, bro. You guys are caught. 4K. 4K. All right. We caught y'all. Y'all in here coming in the chat. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. But going back to what I was talking about, right, guys? CBT 3 and beyond, I would tell people, hey, you should save your residuals to go ahead and pick up one of the W engines. Now, mind you, this is before we had the standard selector that we got for 2.0, so on and so forth, right? I would tell people save these. Why? Because getting just one of these engines for whatever you were going to be using on your account would help significantly improve the power level that you have on your account, right? It would complete builds. And a lot of the pushback that I got, why would I do that when I need pulls? Characters are way more important. I need this. Okay, so these are 50-50s, first of all, right? Using the disc or the tapes is still a 50-50. And there's an asterisk next to what I'm about to say. This is still a 50-50 on whether or not you're gonna get the character you're looking for. These are just pulls, it's a gambling addiction. This is guaranteed. Like if you saved up 600, instead of using 600 of them to get your 20 pulls or 10 pulls, whatever it is, this is guaranteed. You can literally pick up a W engine and help you. So this not only helps people that are saying like, I don't have the spare engines to build whatever, or I don't pull on the W engine banner because no extra pulls, right? This helps you. 1S, okay, there we go. Thank you, Alish. 30 pulls or 1S engine, 1S rank engine, right? So like these 30 pulls, the asterisk, this is the asterisk part. If these 30 pulls are going to guarantee that you get that character, right? If I'm going for Ye Shun Wong on my free to play, if I'm going for Arya or Sunna or Alice, if any of these 30 pulls would help me get that guarantee, go ahead and burn it. That is a situation where it's like, yeah, this is worth it. But if you're still fishing for a 50-50, you still got 70 pity left over, there's absolutely no reason for you to be burning these master tapes besides having a gambling addiction, right? I just wouldn't do that. Now we get into kind of like the meat and potatoes here. This is just a little tidbit that I want to explain before we jump into it, because getting the option for this is pretty important. So we go back into like, why would I do whatever if I had Weeping Gemini? So we're going to talk about where she at, Grace, really quick here, okay? So Grace's thing, her signature is Fusion Compiler. She gets a ton of pin ratio. You give her a pin 5, she gives you attack % increase, and she also gives you the AP increase, which stacks up to 3 times, right? Pretty big. So which the question was, why use that when I could use Weeping Gemini? If you notice, Weeping Gemini also gives you a ton of AP, stacking up to 4 times, which is crazy good, but that's it. That's all it gives you, and it goes away after the stun. Once the stun window ends, this buff goes away. You need to restack it, okay? You get an attack % increase, and that's it. So this makes it so that your build for whatever anomaly agent you're using is pretty standard. But if you ran Fusion Compiler, you get the anomaly proficiency increase, not by much, right? Like it's like slightly less, but you still get an AP increase, you get an attack increase, and you get the penetration ratio from it, which would then allow you to run a pin 5, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it with like Miyabi, right? Miyabi wants to run a pin 5. I don't think my Miyabi is on a pin 5. Let me go see if she is. I'll just kind of point it out real quick. She is. Okay, my Miyabi is on pin 5, right? So you get to run your pin 5. The W engine, Fusion Compiler, is going to give you another 24% penetration ratio. That's almost a 50% penetration penetration value just by having the engine and disc 5, nothing else. Then you can build around everything else that you want, the AP, the attack percent. You can do whatever it is that you're looking for. Why I'm bringing this up and why I think this is important to like turn into a video is simply because of the fact that Zenless isn't like the other games, the other like gacha games. It's not like Wuthering, it's not like Genshin, it's not like Star Rail. I mean, even then Star Rail has a different like variety of builds, but what I'm getting at is that you can completely change the builds of your characters. Not everything has to be the same. For example, Yanagi and Grace have this, but we'll talk about Nagi here for just a moment, okay? Because she has a variety of different builds. I know a few of them. I believe Zen is in the chat, so he can kind of like double down with me. A lot of you guys might be familiar with Chaos Jazz, 4-piece Chaos Jazz running with Yanagi, and that's it. You don't know anything else. That's the only thing you know. But if we go over here, we go into the builds, which I should be able to see. Nope, stop that. Where is... Am I bugging? More plans. There we go. I'm so blind, guys. Just pay no mind to me, all right? We go over into more plans. I'm gonna look for Yanagi real quick, and we can kind of come down here and see this, okay? So the main plan, 4-piece Thunder Metal, 2-piece Chaos Jazz. This is for a main DPS Yanagi. It's different. Why? Because Thunder Metal works if the enemy is shocked. It gives you this massive attack boost, right? Combat attack boost. So this is good for a main DPS Yanagi. But if you're not playing Nagi on field, you're playing a sub DPS Nagi, you don't get a lot of value from Thunder Metal, right? But you would get a lot of value from Thunder Metal in the event you're running something like Mono Electric. So this would be like Haramasa Arena and Yanagi, or Haramasa, I guess the new thing is Zhao and Yanagi, something along those lines. So you would get away with something like that, right? That would help you. And you can kind of see a different, you know, thing here and there. If this is updated, we'll have different plans in here as well. Let me see. Nope, these are just going to be like recommended teams and whatnot. They're really not talking about all the different W engines or sets that we could be running here, but it is what it is, okay? So going back into Nagi and looking at what we already have, her builds are more versatile, all right? You could also get away with running a 4-piece Freedom Blues if you wanted to run more of a supportive sub DPS Yanagi, because your Freedom Blue pieces were just cracked out of their mind, right? You can get away with that. You could get away with, Zena has a video talking about it. I recommend everybody watch it if you're more interested on that. With the Shining Aria 4-piece set. Oh, but the ether damage, it doesn't count. It doesn't count, but the 4-piece is really fucking good. So it works in your favor a lot. You can run a main DPS Nagi. So now instead of Thunder Metal being her best set for main DPS, you can get away with Shining Aria, depending on if you have really good sets for her, right? But if you can't tell, this is just kind of changing up the builds that you're able to do with your Yanagi. And then I haven't even gotten into the whole matchup thing. Which one's better for what matchup, which one's better for what enemy, or which one's better on which team. All of these questions kind of apply to this stuff. And so at the base level, yes, you can absolutely just have a stock standard build that you're using and it works across the board, right? Yes, when you get into optimizing how you're playing in game or like how you're approaching in game, it's important to understand at least the concept of what I'm talking about, because a lot of the questions that some of you guys have or the problems that some of you guys face when it comes to beating in game or clearing in game, I promise you, understanding your build and optimization behind that build and if you're like wasting stats or not would help you like clear no problem. Let's say you're stuck at 17K or 19K or 20K, you want 21K, whatever, anything of the sort, and you can't clear it. There's something about this build, you're like, oh man, my stats are there, right? I'm running the 4-piece Thunder Metal set for my Yanagi, but she's just not clearing. I'm playing, you know, Alice, Yuzu, and Yanagi, and I just can't clear it. Or I'm playing Piper, Yuzu, and Nagi, and I can't clear it. Well, if you changed your Nagi's build, that might help you out. You could also get away with, like, let's say you had electric damage bonus. Well, Nagi already gives herself a lot of electric damage, a lot of electric anomaly. Like, she's packed with that stuff. Adding Yuzuha onto the team also gives them a big damage boost as well, right? So it's like, would I gain more value out of using a penetration disc instead of an electric damage disc? Now, I already have a video that should be talking about this. Ramon, you actually just brought up exactly what I was getting ready to talk about. Let me show you guys. I have a whole video that by the time you watch this video should already be out. It is basically a how to use the Zenless optimizer. It's a pretty hefty video. I'm gonna warn you guys now. It's really long because there's so much information. If you can't tell when it comes to talking about builds and all that kind of stuff, this is where it is, okay? So I already had something optimized for my Yanagi. I'll take you guys back over here since we're just still talking about the character. And then I'm gonna scroll all the way down. This part I explained at the beginning of the video because I just kind of skipped over it. This is super important, guys, right? When we're talking about builds and like optimization and helping things, this is gonna help you understand more about what I'm talking about, why I'm saying changing your build or having different builds per matchup or different set is so much more important than what you think it is, right? You guys are diminishing why this is so important in in-game, but it's actually a really big deal, or it can be a really big deal to help you guys out. So all of these stats right here in the middle, and I'll full screen this if you guys need it to, but the other side is just Zenless. It's not really a big deal. Yeah, you guys, you don't need that full screen, do you? It's not really that big. It's a little bigger or whatever. Anyway, actually fuck that, because I don't want the ads. Yeah, get rid of the ads. All right, boom. All of these are the buffs that I would have activated within the team, okay? Disorder damage, electric damage. This is gonna be Nagi stuff, so I'm not gonna take that away because that's Nagi's. But if you pay attention over here, right? All the damage, the anomaly damage that I'm using, final attack, all this kind of stuff, right? The AP that's in game, the penetration value, all that kind of stuff. If I start taking things away, notice the number goes down. All these numbers start to change, okay? So this is something that you wouldn't see or do in game because the game just doesn't have an optimizer. So you would have to just know it. That's why something like this website is really important to help you guys. What are these buffs? These are all Yuzuha's buffs, okay? Everything right here, combat attack, Yuzuha. The damage percent, Yuzuha. This right here, the 20% is anomaly damage bonus. And then this one down here is disorder damage bonus. Both of these, Yuzuha. And then the AP, this is Yuzuha's engine. So I'm gonna take that away for just a moment so you guys can see what's going on here, right? I've activated all this stuff. Now, why again is this important? Because if I go down here, you're gonna see all this stuff with optimize. Again, I already have a video on it, so I'm not gonna get into super detail about like all the different disk configurations that I've already done. You can see down here that currently my best build for building Yanagi with the intent to do electric anomaly damage would be a 4-piece Chaos Jazz, 2-piece Astral Voice, so 10% attack bonus, and it gives me my electric damage bonus, no pin. If I click optimize, you see how it just changed. Why did it change? Because I filled in, hey, who are you playing Yanagi with? Oh, I'm playing her with Yuzuha. Oh, well, that changes things because now you don't need the things that you didn't have because Yuzuha is giving you that stuff. So now we can recommend something else. Let's go with a more damaging build. Let's give you penetration ratio. Let's give you more attack percent, and let's give you a little bit less AP because she's making up for it, right? This is what the optimizer is looking for to give you the most damage, right? The 40K per attack or whatever it is that she's doing. And then boom, you're good to go. After this point, let's say, okay, well, I'm fighting something that is, you know, the enemy is stunned and it has electric resistance. It resists by 35% for whatever reason I'm trying to fight Nagi. If I click optimize again, what it should have done was change this stuff so that it makes up for it. But the penetration ratio is probably just better overall, right? But ideally what would happen is that it would change my build. So it's like, hey, you're fighting something that's resistant towards you. You might need more of this, which in this case would be penetration value, right? Or you might need more electric damage to make up for whatever it is they got going on. You might need more attack to make up the stat difference of your anomaly not doing whatever. How are you supposed to know the enemy stats? From other websites like Hakush or whatever it is, right? I'm not saying like everyone should do this because I know I'm gonna get that dumbass comment, oh, everyone's not gonna do this all the time, and why do you expect people to be? I don't expect somebody to be a mad scientist or a calculator. This is for players who want it. That's it. Going back to the actual game, because like I just needed to explain that part there, okay? Changing builds gives you more or less, depending on what you're fighting. And understanding why you're changing those builds gives you a better outcome, right? It's just more knowledge. That's all it is more knowledge. I don't want to take up like a lot of time with this type of video because I'm still playing on the free-to-play account. I'm going to log back into that, but that's legit. All this is, guys, is just being able to understand how do you get the most out of whatever it is that you're looking for, right? To build this character. My Evelyn, normally my Evelyn would have like 170 something crit damage, but her attack was always lower. My Evelyn's attack for the longest time was like 2,700. I optimized it. We got her crit rate up to 74%. Her crit damage is 133. Her attack is 3,100. And I was still able to give her 32% penetration ratio. This is a better build than what I was doing before. Before, I had high crit damage, low attack, no pen ratio, and like 60 something crit rate. But now I have like all of the stats rounded out just by changing builds. Just by changing to something that I was able to use and had better stats or pieces for. And then when I'm playing her with Dailin, obviously I run the puffer. You know what I mean? Same thing would exist for my Ye Shunguang. Now, mind you, this is really all she needs right here. So as you guys can see right here, same thing with my Yeshun Wong, right? Before, when I was running Yeshun Wong, she was on a penetration build, 2-piece pin. Her attack was like 2,800, so lower than 3K. Her crit damage was around like 170 something, or my bad, her crit damage was 202 and her crit rate was like 43. With the help of the optimizer and some really good luck on disc while I was doing the video for the optimizer, funnily enough, I was able to get some better pieces and change around her build. We also got the pin ratio 5 instead of fizz damage 5, right? Because I like, look at this, bro, +2/+2, really good stuff. Oh, and then I also had a fizz damage bonus on Woodpecker, all the best stats, but you know, hey, it rolled into what it rolled into, still usable though. But I didn't want Woodpecker. I was like, man, Woodpecker just kind of feels like a wasted, any character that has a low crit rate requirement, it always just feels like a waste running Woodpecker on that character. So it is what it is. My Yidhari got improved too. So, you know, it's little stuff. I know this video started about like using Fusion Compiler on different anomaly agents, but it really does come down to that, right? Even if you were to go into Shiyu defense, which this is kind of like the whole big thing, right? One of the big things about this is using the 3 teams. Oh man, I can't do that because 3 teams, whatever, right? Let's just say that I was playing Yeshun Wong, whatever. And my Yeshun Wong is, I don't have her Sig, so my Yeshun Wong is using Cauldron, which is going to be used for Yeshun Wong, or she's using Brimstone. I don't know, whatever you have available to you, right? Boom. Then I go over into my second match and I'm like, hey, well, you know what? I do have Ether. I do have a Zhuyuan. My Zhuyuan can clear this. I know I can clear Thrashing with Zhuyuan because I've done it before, so I could definitely get this 25K. But my Zhuyuan has always shared the Brimstone. What do? Well, now if you have Cauldron, you can give Cauldron to your Yeshun Wong and you can give Brimstone to your Zhuyuan, and now you're chilling, right? But now because Brimstone gives you a ton of attack instead of the crit damage that her signature engine gives you, well, now you make up the stats. Now you have to make up the stats now. So it just kind of goes into that. What if you can't clear with Zhuyuan? Well, this isn't really an example that you can't clear. This is an example about if you can clear. So I really wouldn't have like an example for if you can't clear in this particular scenario, because it's not fitting what I'm trying to get across right now as far as like the explanation goes of changing builds. But you just kind of go from there. Same thing with Nagi. If I knew that I was mainly an anomaly based account, hypothetically, and my only anomaly characters on my team or my account were like Vivian, Piper, and Alice, right? Now, Alice, because I didn't pull her Sig, let's say Alice has Weeping Gemini, R5. I don't have another built up Weeping Gemini, but I do have, in Piper's case, let's go down to Piper real quick. Let's say that I had, because I lost it, I got it for free on the standard pool, whatever. I have a random Fusion Compiler level 0 sitting on my account. Why would I not invest into that, right? Why would I not put that on my Piper? Oh, well, because her signature is better, whatever. I could just use this and alter her build to do whatever, and it works out. I get the attack increase, which she's gonna love. I get the AP increase, which she's gonna love. And I get the pin ratio, which she's gonna love. And I can also, because I've invested into this Fusion Compiler and it's already ranked up, more anomaly characters, actually all anomaly characters, can use Fusion Compiler. Everyone can't use Roaring Ride. So when it comes down to, like, again, something else that I took from Genshin, when you're working on your account and you're trying to like min-max, I know a lot of players kind of think of like, oh, min-maxing is just not worth it. Like, the way they think about min-maxing is like sweating your ass off. That's not what that means. You're maxing the minimum amount of whatever you got on your account, right? Your resources, your stats, your gear, your builds, your characters, whatever it is. You are maxing out whatever is available to you. So if I only had S rank and A rank, if I have all of these, but you don't have all these SIGs, just pretend you don't. You have one character signature W engine. So let's just go with your Nagis. You have a random Fusion Compiler. You have Weeping Gemini, and then you have Piper's W engine. Let's look at which characters out of the entire anomaly roster and future anomaly characters can use certain W engines. Why? Because taking a W engine from level 0 to level 60 is a lot of resources. It's almost as much as a character, right? So if I have Nagi and Nagi's engine, she's good to go. The only person using Nagi's engine is Nagi. Obviously, if you're trading this off to use for somebody else like a Grace, sure, that works out too. I don't really have another anomaly agent leveled up yet. I know I'm gonna get, hypothetically, Arya, right? She's coming out in the future. I know I'm gonna get Arya. I'm already saving up for her. She's guaranteed. I just know it. You gain more value by leveling and investing a Fusion Compiler that's already on your account so that your Piper can use it, and then you just trade it on over to Arya whenever you get her, versus You leveling up Roaring Ride for your Piper to use right now and then struggling later because you don't have the resources to build up another W engine for Arya and build up Arya at the same time, right? It takes you too long to do that. It would take you like 2 months to do it from a completely free-to-play perspective. Nagi is using her engine and it doesn't work on Arya, so you would have to have something else. This now puts you in a situation, which a lot of people do, well, I'll just pull for her engine. Can't really do that, right? And so same thing with Weeping. Mo, you can absolutely use Weeping Gemini, but again, why invest only in the Weeping when you have this random fusion compiler sitting on your account that's also beneficial to every anomaly agent on your account? It just comes down to min-maxing what you have. This isn't like fusion better than Weeping. This isn't what that is. It's quite literally, hey, what do I have? What am I preparing for? What do I want? And then you make that decision and then you invest into it. Which one of these give me the longest lifespan for what I'm looking to accomplish? If I'm looking to accomplish clearing Endgame as best as I can, how many of these characters can use whatever it is? Then we get into, let's just say you don't have nobody's signature W engine, which a lot of people are in that situation. Most players are using Weeping Gemini. They're using an R5 Weeping Gemini for their anomaly DPS, but you only have one because most players are just not building up 5 Weeping Geminis, right? No matter how many you can make for free, most players are not building up 5 Weeping Geminis. So if you only have one invested Weeping Gemini and you have a random fusion compiler on your account and you have Roaring Ride on your account and you have Rainforest Gourmet on your account, why would you not invest into the fusion compiler? Making the decision to invest into Roaring Ride so that you can give it to Piper because it's her signature W engine versus just giving her fusion compiler might be shooting yourself in the foot. That's my point. Tony Stark built Iron Man in a cave with scraps. Damn. But anyway, guys, I'm out of here for that video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, okay? I really just wanted to explain that. I know that was a little bit long-winded. Dang, man, I thought it was gonna be quick too, but y'all know me. Anyway, I can't say my usual outro because it's inappropriate for YouTube. Like the video, comment, subscribe. Smell you later. A lot of you guys play these teams that are pride winified. I'll say that. Y'all play them as if they're very pride winified. The hyper carry mentality is like, it's great to get you from, yo, what?